So you may have remembered these people from a while ago when everyone was talking about them and how much they suck, and by the way, I totally agree with those people. I left it off for a while because I wasn't sure if there was anything new coming out that I might be able to talk about later, but since there wasn't really anything exciting, because, I mean, you wouldn't really think that there would be, I decided it was time to just finally say what I had to say, which is mainly complaining, but when have I ever done anything else? I had a bunch of exams and stuff during the week, so now I can say that I'm officially out of the woods with my semester and everything, and I'm able to get back into doing stuff, which I didn't do at all, which is why you didn't see me last week. But anyways, so if you don't know who these people are, I'll just show you what's playing in the background and you'll start to get an idea. They're one of those sort of, I guess, trendy things that you might see on Twitter sometimes as well. You know, the ones with the food hacks and the 5-minute crafts and whatever. It's one of those things where it gets to a point where some of it might be useful in some instances if you're bored and want to do some crafts, but they start turning plastic bottles into buckets and like all these weird things that would cost way more to do than just going out and buying something for like $5. Now, these people for some reason have gone way past that. I didn't even know that that was possible, but they've somehow made it worse. And with these sorts of things, you can't really just say stuff overall about them for the entirety of a video. You have to kind of get into some examples to really show how bad it is. Why am I even talking about them? These people in particular, though. I mean, there's a billion other types of these channels out there, so why am I picking them? Well, I am one of those people who actually likes to do some grandma style crafts every now and again. I do crochet, I like to make little things. They usually, for me, just little, maybe like decorating notebooks or spending time on things that don't really involve too many hands-on things like this. If it's something that I'm not really going to use, then I won't really do it because I don't really see the point besides just like pictures and drawing and stuff like that. So whenever I look something like that up, if it's a pattern or if it's a type of scarf or something that I want to do, these motherfuckers in particular are always in the sidebar. I don't know why, because it has nothing to do with anything that I want to make. I don't want to make a table out of Coke bottles. I don't want to make a weather vane out of someone's pubic hair, whatever the fuck they're doing now, but they're always there. So I started getting this sort of, I guess you could say a passive-aggressive, well, not really passive-aggressive, just aggressive hatred for them, and this is what led us to where we are today. So now that we've gone through that, I want to point out one more weird general thing about them before we continue just jumping into talking about whatever they're doing. So first off, even though sometimes they have this like American voice,
remove the tape, cut circles out of metallic corrugated cardboard.
You'll notice one thing. The American voice sometimes just says things that are straight up not correct in English. And I don't mean little things, I just mean like a very weird phrasing of a sentence that you would not get.
Just look, they are going in so quickly as if they're having a housewarming party inside.
Even though their accent is completely normal and standard for the type of thing that they're saying, which is weird because it's one of those things where they hire a voice actor who is doing the accent that they want, like say American or British or something, but for some reason either they don't want the actor to correct their English or the actor just doesn't give a shit about the English, so there's just these really weird phrases that are still in there. And they pretend that they're in the United States and everything, but these people are clearly, I think, Ukrainian or something, which is weird because I don't know. It's just weird to me that you have to try and make it out like you're in a particular place. I mean, to me, like, what's wrong with just saying that you're a crafts shop or like a crafts channel from the Ukraine or wherever? Why do you have to pretend to be in the US? Is this one of those like tech support scams? But I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Another thing that I've noticed is from the time that I was watching them and watching people doing videos on them, they used to have these two women who, I guess one of them would like dress up as a dude by putting brow mascara and stuff on their faces, try and make it look like they have facial hair, which was very strange. But now that I come back to it after not seeing it for a couple months, they apparently have a guy, and the girl looks kind of different to me. So I don't know if they just got new actors and those people were from somewhere else as well, but the thing that kind of confuses me is if they're getting different actors and they have a voice actor, who's the one who's writing this? It kind of makes me think that there's some like old crusty people sitting in a boardroom going, how do we make these things for the youngsters? Because otherwise I don't really know how this would work if they're changing people like this. It seems like a weird business model. Nevertheless, so first we're gonna jump into a thing about pranks to pull in school. Now these videos are kind of long, so what I'm basically doing is just riffing over the top of them. Oh god, no. Turn down the... Oh, it's royalty free. Techno, my favorite.
A laptop in a briefcase, a music player in a pencil sharpener, a phone in a pencil case, and a dance club right at your desk?
A dance club right at your desk.
Sneak gadgets into class
You see how these things are a bit off, right? Their phrasing is a bit off. They're kind of like, if you've seen ages ago, I did a podcast episode about those kids channels that word things really weirdly and sing those Johnny Johnny songs that became a meme a while back. It's sort of the same thing. It's just really off. But let's talk about what's happening right now. This is what I mean by making things harder for yourself by trying to make things easy. And it's like, hey, take apart a pencil sharpener that you could easily use and then make it into something that is very, very conspicuous and not at all looking like what it's supposed to. I don't understand how this giant ass cord sticking out of a pencil sharpener is going to be like, look normal. I don't have any pencil sharpeners that I like that. And you see what I mean, they're running out of things, so they have to try and make up stuff that is just making things worse. I mean, there's the age-old thing where you put your earphones in your sleeve and then lean on your face so that one of your hand and your ear are meeting, and then that's how you're listening to music. Or like the easiest fucking thing that I used to do when I was in school, which was because I have really bushy black hair, I would just take really thin black headphones and put them in and no one would fucking notice because my hair was down and it blended in. Like, it's kind of common sense. So having something like this that you can easily see.
Teacher notices us moving at our desk. But Christy and I are obedient students.
They don't notice the yellow cord between the two of you very clearly wobbling back and forth. They just notice that you're writhing at your desks like you're having a seizure. Also, I don't know why I have to point this out in particular, but what are they learning? There's two arrows going up and down. There's a weird, like Harry Potter lightning scar thing going on in that graph. There's some boobs up there. And there's 3 blocks. With nothing in them. And this one as well. How is this tube of glue with a fucking phone cover sticking out of it? Very clear to see. Something that people would actually, want to make. I mean, one, you're ruining a phone cover. It looks like a cheap phone cover, but why would you go out of your way to buy one of these? Paint it. And then stick some glue to it. 1, it would be really heavy to move. 2, mess would go everywhere as they're demonstrating. And 3, it would be the easiest thing to see. Why is there a fight in class? I mean, either this teacher or your teacher, if you're doing this, has dementia, doesn't give a shit anymore. And like, if you're in a normal class, like you're in maths or whatever was on the board before, you're not gonna just have a tube of glue lying around like that, just picking it up. Yeah, just bring a briefcase into school like you usually do and just have it on your desk for the entirety of the class. Open. That's exactly how you're supposed to be a normal person. Also, who holds their book up when they're writing like that? Why are you painting those? You're ruining it. Yes, let's put nail polish on a fucking briefcase. This is another thing that I don't like about these people. They constantly make things by ruining things that are perfectly good in ways that you don't have to. Like, let's say that you wanted to make a briefcase and like put it in a thing, right? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do this like really cheap ass, gross ass looking thing when the briefcase was obviously fine before? It looked fine. It just looked like a normal briefcase, but now it looks like something that you obviously botched.
He studies every possible prank on teachers, just in case of danger.
Yeah, let me watch pranks on teachers to try and figure out what's going on in my class instead of opening my eyes and using my vision to figure it out. But no, see, he doesn't give a shit. They're just dancing along and then he's just like, looking up like, things are shaping up to be pretty odd. Yes, let me open my book and tap my finger along the edges to show that I'm writing with a pen. And also, they have to explain really, really simple things. Okay, if you're cutting out a hole for a camera in your notebook, it is obviously because you have something in there. If the teacher suspects something, they'll just look at you holding up your notebook like you have a phone behind it.
But unfortunately, her phone battery died. And how is she supposed to finish her notes now?
Finish your notes by writing in a fucking book. Okay, you know what? Let's just move on to another one. This is one about couples pranks. Delightful. And as I said before, we have a actual guy in this one now and some different people. I guess they hired some new actors. I'll show you one of the older ones where they had this lady with weird brow makeup all over her face.
Cut a hank of thick knitting yarn.
Because you just have a hank of thick yarn around? Who's his Hank? Wait, how is this a prank? How would you not notice that immediately? As long, I mean, the people I know would usually just take the hat and put it on themselves. And also, how is this a prank when he obviously doesn't give a shit?
He doesn't part with his new hat, even for
I mean,
a
it's your
second.
fault, bitch.
Dolly is already tired of this braid addiction.
I mean, this is the perfect couple, isn't it? You're constantly on edge because someone else is going to try and injure you in your own house and you can't actually tell them anything because you're constantly on guard. I know that with my friends and whatnot, I would like to be like that with them. Not like I am now, where we just talk about things and treat each other like loved ones, that where we can be safe with each other like you do with a loved one, with someone that you know. I want to be on edge constantly around them, where I don't know if I will die because of a prank, because they won't stop. Dump weird liquids on them, or like put weird shit onto their clothing and ruin their clothing, completely damage everything they own. But as you can see, a lot of these things are completely the same. I'm just going to show you the last one at the end to show you that the difference in actors is kind of confusing me. So this one is called 15 Funny Couple Pranks, or Prank Wars, or whatever. That's what they call their series. This one was like a couple months ago. And as you can see, there's some interesting stuff going on. Like, why would you do that to someone that you're just like, okay, I assume living with? Like, oh, okay, they're really tired in the morning for some coffee, let's just put soy sauce in it. Again, why would you do that? These aren't necessarily pranks to me, more than just being a cunt. Like, okay, maybe I just don't like pranks because of what the YouTube community has done to like the idea of pranks or whatever. Like, I just don't care. It's just a waste of time. I'm generally very tired and grumpy. I don't give a shit. But like the only real thing that you're gonna get out of this, for instance, is just someone sipping it going, huh, this tastes funny. This doesn't taste right. I don't drink something that's potentially gonna harm my body in some way. Then they dump it out and they get a new glass. And then you go, it was me. And then they're like, why did you do that? You just made me throw out a perfectly good glass of something that I was gonna drink. Now I have to potentially just buy more of it, which is wasting money. And then you'll go, oh, okay, sorry. And then the conversation just goes on. I mean, to me anyway. Cotton pads into chips, and I don't get how that would work. Yeah, going in so quickly as if they're having a housewarming party inside.
So quickly, as if they're having a housewarming party inside.
Again, I think that the dialogue has definitely gotten a little more natural, but not by much. It used to be like this. Another thing, you would very easily notice that there's something wrong with the pegs. Unless you're like eating them like you have chronic depression like this guy. I'm pretty sure that you could notice something before you taste it. This is the caliber. Like, if you know people like that, then sure, maybe this will work. Maybe these are pranks. And a lot of the stuff is just like, you know that it's gonna be like a 5-second prank, but it takes like 20 minutes of work or more. But you know, this is one of the reasons why I'm just really fucking annoyed by these people. I mean, there's just one of those things. Maybe I'm just not in line with what the cool kids like these days. Maybe I'm just a bit of a more simple person who likes simple things. Maybe I don't want to waste money and resources making a thing that would be 1,000 times shittier than just buying the actual thing. It could be my problem. Maybe all of you are screaming at me for making fun of these people when you love these pranks. Maybe I'll just have to live with that.